There we
All
go.
right, all right. Hey, welcome everybody to Sankofa Speaks. We're having conversations that empower and inspire our community. My name is Freddie Taylor. I'm the CEO and founder of Urban Intellectuals, and I am your host of Sankofa Speaks. We aim to bring phenomenal individuals in front of you to share their wisdom, their insight, their expertise, and their experiences with you so that we can all continue to grow. Today is definitely a very important step in building out this content and building out these conversations because we got a very great one coming up ahead of you here today with the good brother Deshaun Harris. Let me read his bio, then I'll bring him into the discussion and we'll get down and then we'll have some time for Q&A at the end. But y'all already know if you have any questions, drop them down in the comments. I'll try to get to them. Hey, I'm talking to the live people who are live at this interview who are behind the scenes because they are members of Urban Intellectuals in one of our membership programs, or they are VIP customers of Urban Intellectuals. If that's you, check your emails. Make sure that you show up for our Sankofa Speaks interviews. Here we go. Let's dive into Deshaun Harris. Deshaun D. Harris is a committed leader, mentor, and educator with a passion for guiding others through life's challenges and with wisdom, compassion, and real world experience. With a strong foundation in finance, human resources, and community development, Deshaun has built a career rooted in purpose, integrity, and service. He currently serves in the senior leadership role within higher education and is known for his ability to bring people together and delivering practical solutions that move organizations forward. Beyond his professional work, Deshaun is the voice behind Dad Talks, a growing platform dedicated to inspiring and empowering both youth and adults through fatherly guidance, life skills, education, and real conversation. Whether in the boardroom or the community, Deshaun shows up as a steady presence and a thoughtful problem solver, always committed to uplifting others and leaving things better than he found them. Hey, urban intellectuals, do me a favor and let's help me welcome our good brother, Deshaun Harris. Hey, good brother, how you doing today?
What's happening, brother? I appreciate that. Yeah, hey, based on that bio read, we definitely went to the same public school, man.
Hey, brother, hey, we gonna get it out. You understand what I'm trying to say, right?
Hey, we get through it though. We get through it.
We
It
get
don't.
through
We
it.
get through
We get
it.
through it.
Forge ahead, bro.
See, y'all, I told y'all we good friends. We grew up together. But now he done already to open up the jokes. I'm
You know
funny
what?
too now. All right.
Yeah.
Now no, we're gonna have a good discussion. But I always ask our interviewees, what's missing from your bio?
What's missing? So, I'm a father of three, a husband to one, and I love it. I love being a father. I love being a husband. That's the thing that's been guiding me. I watched my father, be a dedicated husband, a dedicated father for his entire life. I watched his father do the same for his entire life. So, and that makes me a little unique, especially where coming from where we're from. We don't see that a lot. So. I think that's the biggest thing missing from my bio. Yes, I went to college. I have a bachelor's in business. I have an MBA as well, but don't get it twisted. I was a horrible student. I am a horrible student. I got through it. I got it. I got the letters, but sitting in the classroom is not my thing. I'm a regular person.
Yeah, no, I love that because I'm a regular person. Well, so okay, you're a regular person, but you're doing well, right? With your the finances, the things that we talk about that you need to take care of, right? Protecting, not investing, saving, investing, growing our
Yeah.
money, protecting it, and all of that. Where does that knowledge? Where does that knowledge come from, right? I heard you talk about your dad, your grandfather. Where does that come from? Is that being passed down throughout the generations, or did you just do the work yourself?
So it's a little mixed because it wasn't passed down per se. Excuse me. It wasn't passed down. It was my grandfather worked for Ford Motor Company on the line for his entire life. He retired and he stayed retired for about 24, 25 years. So he hit him for that pension, really. And I'm so happy he did that for 20 some odd years. My father was an engineer for GM.
Mm.
And he knew to save and use the 401k and things like that. Me being raised, I mean, started cutting grass at 10, 11, 12, and seeing the money, and I kind of got addicted to that. Like, oh, this is cool. You do a little bit of work and you kind of get paid for it. So um, that's kind of where the work ethic came from. And I would say I started to learn after I started working for UPS corporate, and I was around a lot of white people, a lot of well-to-do white people, and I've watched what they were doing, and I said, "Oh, you're buying stocks and you're doing different things." So it just sparked me to learn a little bit more. And then, when I bought my first house, now we live in, I just knew buy the house, and I looked at debt a certain way. I don't mean to jump right into this, man, but
Well,
once I
go
get going,
for it.
I just
Let's
go.
go.
So bought my first house. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be responsible and just I always knew credit was important. No idea where it came from. I just knew it was important. So I always paid my bills on time. I would charge something on the card and I would pay it off immediately. I never ran it up past a point. And when I bought the house, I instinctively thought, you know what? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pay extra on my mortgage because ain't no way I'm gonna let this hang around for 30 years. I'm gonna be different. So I want to be in my 30s or early 40s with a paid off house and I could just glide through life. So I paid extra on my mortgage for 14, 13, 14 years. And it wasn't until later, after I got into real estate investing, I started reading and I started really getting educated on how to use money and learning that it's a good thing. It's a thing called good debt and bad debt that I said, wait a minute. I'm paying this house off early. That's the not the worst thing that I could done, but I mean, there's so many other things to do before you get to that point that's when my mindset shifted. So I really lost about 13 or 14 years. So when I noticed, and we can get into all that, but when I noticed that, I said, man, if I could share this information with some young folks or even folks just trying to get into it now, I'm just spreading the knowledge to our people because coming from where we came from, that knowledge was not readily available. Our folks are just working, good jobs, good benefits, and you know, we was raised in the hood, but not the hood. You know what I mean? We was good enough to go to school with the poor white people, right? So it was cool.
Right. Yeah, yeah. I always I like how you put that. We was raised in the hood, but it wasn't the hood, right? Like
Right.
that's pretty accurate. Like if y'all know the city that we're talking about, you'll be like, "Ooh, no, the brothers was they started from the bottom, right?
Right.
But I like how you said it wasn't the hood because we had a great environment, a
Right.
nice ecosystem that we had an opportunity to grow up in. I'll say that. So that definitely made it different. Okay, so I didn't know this. I thought you had been investing in buying homes early. So first you just bought your first home, your family
Yep.
home,
Yep.
then eventually got into real estate investing. How like what was that process like? And where are
So
you at now in that?
yeah, yeah, sure. So I started a little bit later, not too much later. I was in my 20s, or late 20s. So I had the first house and I was always resourceful. So when you buy your first house, as most men, not all men, but most men, you kind of tinker around the house, you figure out things. What's a water heater? What's a furnace? How do you fix it? So you just start to do those things. And so
I just want to say I'm not most men because I'm not tinkering. Deshaun, no,
hey,
I ain't that. I'm like, hey, we gonna hire somebody. Anyway, go
right.
ahead, bro. I'm sorry, I cut
No,
you off.
no, no, but that's important too. So as a man, though, you need to understand what every sound in your house is.
Word.
You can hire or call the right person to fix that issue. You don't just hope it gets better. You need to know a little bit to call the right person. So after about 5 years, I'll say when we looked at our second house, that's when the real estate market crashed. And
So that's like
you know,
08, 09.
was it '06? I think.
Oh, so,
I don't
okay.
know,
Yeah,
06,
yeah.
somewhere in there, about '06.
It was going down then. That's
Oh,
it.
it was going down. I was trying to sell my childhood home. Now, but prior to that, I'm like, pay off your house early. And even if you don't pay it off early, I'm building so much equity because I'm paying the principal down. So the equity is up here. So I'm golden. When that market crashed and we went upside down,
Mm.
I remember as a point in my life at that time where I couldn't pay. I was trying to pay somebody 10 grand to take my house because I was so afraid of buying the next house and having the mortgage over here because I was that afraid of debt. You don't want to be in debt. And thinking about this now is comical, right? Oh my God, I'm so glad I didn't. So anyway, I was kind of pushed. like had to get a new house, rent this primary house out. But before then, I did buy a rental. I did buy a rental on the east side of Detroit.
Okay.
I bought this house for $12,000, and it was around that, crash time, and just fixed it. Did the same thing that I did to my house and just rented it out. I looked up contracts and leases, and I bumped my head along the way. I did so many things wrong. Um, it's a couple things that I'm not proud of, like when you have a lease with a renter, and you rent a house, you have the principal residence exemption removed. That's basically, I'm not living in the house. I pay a higher tax rate because I'm an investor. So young me is like, well, I don't want to pay higher taxes. How can I keep that residential? And they said, oh, if you land contracted, then they can keep the principal residence exemption, basically keep it the low taxes. So I did that, and I kept doing that. And what I didn't realize, this is the stupid me, what I didn't realize is every time I did a new land contract, that was a sale. I was selling the home to each person. And if you know anything about taxes, every time you sell a home, the city comes back and reassesses your taxes and jumps it up to the current tax rate. So every year, it just boom, boom, boom. And they finally caught up to me and said, yeah, this ain't, it never changed possession. I never really sold it. So by the fourth or fifth tenant, I lost thousands and thousands of dollars in taxes. Had I known, just go ahead, bite the bullet, pay a little higher taxes then. But once it's set, it only goes up a certain percent every year.
Mhm.
And so now I will be cash flowing over $1,000 for that one property if I would have just stayed the course. So I just didn't know.
Cash flowing a month every
A
month.
month, a month, excuse me. Yep, a
How
month.
many of y'all could use an extra $1,000 a month, right? Especially if you had an asset and then made some mistakes. But this is what happens when you start to do things that you haven't done before. You don't got like a mentor directly in front of you telling you, hey, don't do this, don't do that. Sometimes you got to bump your head, right? You learn these lessons the hard way. I bet he won't do it again, right?
So I didn't answer your question. Why did I get into it? So number one, I bought it for security. So for me, I had this unrealistic fear of being homeless because when I was a kid, it's just you see homeless people, and I looked at folks that were homeless, and in Detroit, it get cold in the wintertime. And I remember being the kid in the back seat looking at a homeless man, and I just thought nobody cares about this person and nobody's doing anything for this person. And I don't ever want to be on the street like that because I don't want to do that. So the first reason for doing that was security. And that's why I was trying to pay my house off early. Then after I got past that fear, you have a question?
No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
go for it. Go for it.
Okay. So after I got past that fear, the second thing was it was for my kids' college. I said, hey, I'm going to invest in houses. So once I started doing that, I said, you know what? Let's move past college. Let's buy a house for every kid. That way, when the kids, graduate, get older, they'll have a home. So if anything happens to me, they'll have a great start at life. So then, now we got past that point, I just went full throttle investment for passive income because I realized I don't have a pension. I'm not getting the pension my grandfather got. I'm not getting all this money per month. So as I saw the cash flow, I said, well, when I retire and I'm not working anymore, I need that passive income to kind of take care of me. And the longer I have it, and the higher rents go up, inflation is going to outpace my taxes. So that's my cash flow pension. So that's pretty much why I did it.
No, I love that. I love that. I'm thinking. So I kind of want to paint the picture. One, y'all. One, he's not a real estate mogul. Well, he is, right? Like, hold on.
Oh, no.
But he ain't got 500,000 properties, right? 500 properties, right? Like, and this big and like this and that. The man has a 9 to 5, right? So you have a regular job,
That's right.
making a decent wage. I mean, he's hardworking. And he started to do some intelligent things on the side. Can you just talk a little bit about just the gig to be like, he
Sure.
actually has a job, yeah.
Sure. Sure. So I'm the director of operations for a medical school, and it's a 9 to 5. I mean, it's got all the nuances that every 9 to 5 has. I've got employees and things like that. And as such, I have the normal investment vehicles that they offer. And I had it when I was at UPS as well. I was in engineering and finance and management at UPS as well on the corporate side, but now I'm at the med school. So, so currently it's a 403B, similar to a 401k. It's kind of the same thing, just public institution versus private. So one of the things that I jumped into early with UPS was the 401k. And what I learned now, I'm gonna just fast forward to the end if you don't mind. So
Go for it.
for the 401k, um, it's usually a match that comes with the 9 to 5. So my suggestion is contribute up to the max and do it immediately. Like the first day you get hired, you need to be filling out the paperwork. Like, how do I get in? That's my goal every time. Now, what I used to do, I used to overfund my 401k.
Okay.
As I thought about it, that's not really what I want to do. And I forgot to preface this by saying I'm not a financial advisor, not a financial expert. I'm a regular person. Remember, bad student. but so you contribute up to the max, and then let's just say the match is 5%. So I was given 10. So after I, started reading and doing things, I said, you know what? Instead of contributing 10, I'm gonna do my five. So I'm gonna get my match, get every dollar of my match. But that extra 5%, I'm gonna calculate how much that is, and I'm gonna take it out and put it into a Roth IRA. So a Roth IRA is an after-tax account. So similar to a 401k, but you put the money in after tax. But the benefit of that is you don't pay taxes on it again, right? So it grows interest free. I'm sorry, the interest is tax free.
Yeah.
So as it grows, you're not going to pay taxes on it again. And you have to wait to 59 and a half, similar to the 401k. And so the way I look at it is that with the 401k pre-tax, we were always told, dump as much money as you can because you want that pre-tax going in and let it grow over time. And then when you retire, you're going to be in a lower tax bracket because taxes are going to be lower. You're going to have less income. I'm gonna call BS on that. In my situation, I'm gonna call BS. When you really think about yourself, think about the you now, and think about when you turn 60, are you really gonna live less? Are you gonna get a smaller house? Okay, so your house is paid off. You still got taxes that increase every year. You still got insurance. You still got water. Are you gonna drive a vehicle that's older or pay it off and never get a new vehicle? Are you gonna travel less? Eat. You're gonna stop eating out. You're gonna live the same lifestyle, similar lifestyle to what you are living at 59 and a half or 60 that you already live, and that requires income. So the tax bracket is going to be the same. And if you think about taxes, every year that I've been on earth as a regular person, taxes haven't really decreased for me. So as we go into the future, 20 years from now, whatever your target date is, if you think taxes are going to be lower, good luck. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know how to help you with that one. But and if you think at some point universal health care won't pass, it's going to pass at some point and or be back on the table. And the tax rate like Canada, 51%. Now you're getting taxed more. You put all this money up to get taxed more later.
Yeah.
So again, I go back, get the match, get that free money, but then the after tax, that's where the gold is. So my thing is $7,000 a year max contribution for a Roth IRA. If you're over 50, it's 8,000. But and one quick hack about that is you can also contribute. Well, you can't do it now, but before April 15th of every year, you can contribute to last year's maximum. So if you're just getting started, contribute to 7 grand. If you don't get to 7 grand by December, you still got to April to contribute to this year's max, and then
Oh,
contribute the 7,000 to next year's max. And what else I want to say about IRAs, Roth IRAs? This is what my dad told me. He said the 401k is cool, but let's just say if you got $1 million in your 401k, you don't have $1 million in your 401k. You got like six, 700 maybe because you're gonna get taxed depending on what your rate is. If you got 1 million in your Roth IRA, you got $1 million. That's a bank account now. As soon as the clock turns to 60, it's a bank account and you can just write checks. You can just withdraw. So that's one of the things as a regular 9 to 5 person. And I tell all my coworkers and stuff like that, I tell them the same thing. Like, here's what you can do. And now a lot of employers are offering a Roth inside of the 401k and the 403bs. They're offering that. So they just
wow.
offered ours. And what that does is I have my individual Roth outside, $7,000 max. But now that my job has offered it, it's a $23,000 max on the Roth inside of my job. So, and that's in combination. That's not a part of it. That's in combination. So I can save more money. Now, the difference is it's got to come out of my paycheck to go into the job's 23 grand. I can't just take out money because if I could, I would dump
Load
everything
that
I
boy
could in
up.
there.
Yeah,
Let
yeah,
that grow tax free. Let that interest grow.
yeah. No, that's good. And y'all, this is why I wanted to have this conversation with Deshaun, because what I appreciate about this brother is, one, he is funny. I got to say that. Like, y'all know I think I'm funny. So, he got some humor. I'll never say this again. So I'm gonna edit this out of the YouTube. So we got to make sure.
It's recorded.
Yeah.
It's recorded. Okay.
Yeah, no, we're gonna edit that out. So Arvin, let's make sure we edit that out. But now the brother is funny, but the brother got practical knowledge on these topics that we need to intimately know. And I think what's great about what he's doing with Dad Talks, right? You see Dad Talks on his shirt, is he's having these conversations with his community that he's building about these talks that I ain't gonna say yo daddy, but somebody should have been in your ear helping you have these type of conversations and helping this information. If I have an issue with a house, like I talked to you about I ended up selling that, by the way, brother. Thank you for that. Beers on me. That was good. But I'll call him because I know the brother, like you said, I might not know it. He might not know it, but he is a researcher. He'll go figure it out, right? And it's just
Absolutely.
practical information that he talks about and he does. So inside our legacy program, we've been talking about, and I want to kind of move into like your trust experience, right? And setting up the beneficiaries and all of that. But all of this stuff that we should know, we don't. And we need to bring somebody along that not only understands it to a degree, right? But have the experience. And why I wanted to have a conversation with you is you're not selling nothing in that sphere, right?
That's
So
right.
this
Yeah.
is just going to be his experience walking through the I want to start with, well, let me back up. Let me go with the easier things. The beneficiaries, right? So we got a
Mhm.
bank account, we got all of this stuff, we got access to property, right? We got property and all of that. Like, what's the process of setting up? Okay, maybe I shouldn't limit the trust. Let me let you go where you feel like the
Sure,
conversation.
sure.
Okay.
So
So if I
again, my
wanted to go
experience.
into protection mode on the assets that we're building, where do I start? I think that's it.
So yeah, I'm not an expert on that, but I'll speak to my experience,
Your
right?
experience, yeah, yeah.
So having a trust is, even though you don't think you have anything, you've got stuff. And if something, God forbid, happens to you and you want to pass it down to your kids, it's really difficult for your kids to get at these things if you don't have anything in place. So a will, a trust. Um, Let me just start here. What you can do today without spending a dime.
There we go.
Write down your user IDs, your passwords to all your accounts across all the platforms, and watch how surprised you'll be at the accounts that you have. I forgot how many accounts I got all over the place. So if I'm not here to speak for myself, how in the hell do I expect my family to get to this money that I left for them? It's going to go back to whoever because nobody will know where to uncover it. So that's the first. Open up a spreadsheet, and that's something everybody can do. User IDs, passwords, and put it in a safe, secure place. Hopefully, somebody that you trust and love knows where it's located because I can back it up to where 2015 or 16, 15, lost my grandfather. And every year I lost somebody really important. But during that time, uh, when my grandparents passed and we were trying to figure out, okay, where's the paperwork? Nobody knew. So
Mhm.
we're all sitting in the living room and the same day that, my grandparents passed. And they were like, well, I think there's a safe. There is a safe. Nobody had the combination to the safe. And they was like, well, Deshaun, he used to play cops and robbers when I was like 8. And they was like, "Do you remember?" And they they relied on me to remember the combination from when I was 40 years ago to remember this combination to the safe. And I just happened to remember where a little slip of paper was, and I was able to pop open the safe.
Wow.
So, and we got all the stuff, and they didn't have everything laid out, but it was important documents that they had. They had prepaid for all the funeral arrangements. We wouldn't know that.
Mm.
They had prepaid for them to go into the wall, the mausoleum or whatever it was. They prepaid all this stuff, but we wouldn't know that. And they wasn't gonna call us to say, "Hey,
Ain't
it's all
nobody
paid
about to
for."
tell you. Yeah.
Listen, nobody's coming to save you. Um, nobody's coming to save you. What was I gonna say? So that sparked a conversation between me and my father. And I said, "Hey, Dad, look. So I lost my mom between that time too. Then it was just him. And I said, hey, I don't want you to be like, I call my grandfather Papa. I don't want you to be like Papa and Grandma. I said, if something happens to you, do you have codes or anything where, because you can't speak for yourself? So we had this conversation. We used to talk real like that. And so I want to say about a month or two later, he came back and you know what? This is not planned, but his trust is right here. This is his trust. He came back, slammed us on the table. He says, go ahead, take this home, read it over, and let me know what you think.
Mm.
So I opened this, I read it, and going through it, I actually teared up because there's so many things in there that I didn't think that you would even think about. There's the health section, there's finance, obviously, there's assets. It's just the way I think there's a passage in there that says, I understand that if I become incapacitated, my son has the right to, pull the plug on me, for lack of a better term. But all this stuff, I said, man. So I went back. I said, man, you did it. I just, wow. And he looked at me. He says, yeah, that's cool. Where's yours at?
Oh,
And I said, all right, man. Challenge accepted. Like, and at the time, I'm like, I'm not about to spend no money from a lawyer to do this. And at this point, I got real estate, I got stuff, businesses. And I said, you know what, I got to do it. So I did it. Oh my God, it was the best thing I could ever have done. Um, and like you say, I can't take nothing serious, man. So I'm in there with the lawyer and we talking about assets and the kids getting stuff. And I said, hey, I got I got girls too. So how do I write their spouses out of the will? Like how do I make sure they don't get, what I mean? It was no real way to do it. But another question was posed that I got three kids, right? So um this is kind of dark, but the lawyer had to ask the question. So all your kids are getting 33 and a third percent. If for some reason, okay, let's say all three kids, let's say they have kids, and let's say one of your original kids passes, do you want their share to go to their children or divide it 50-50 between the remaining two? These are important questions that you don't really think about. I mean, it kind of lays things out. And I would say I lost my father in 23, December 23, and that trust made things so much smoother and easier to deal with. Grief is really hard, and emotions come out. I've got two sisters, and you know, the trust kept everything like straight. There's no issues. It's written on paper. Here's what he wanted. Here's all of his stuff, and I'm still the executor of his estate now. But having that laid out, oh my God, it was a lifesaver. So
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
my experience with trust.
What like, cause a lot of that is in the will, right? So what's the difference between the will and the trust? Or
So a will is a note that you take to probate. You don't avoid probate, but a will lists out your wishes, what you want done. So you could definitely do that. Still got to go to probate, but it still lists out what the deceased wants done with their assets and things. A trust, basically, when the person passes, the trust is now evoked. The executor, I acted on his behalf. So the day he was gone, I can act. I can pay bills, access accounts, do different things. I can talk to people. It made things a lot easier because you know what? I'm dealing with a real estate deal now where the person wants me to, get the house from me. It's a really bad condition. Their father had passed years ago. I want to say 6, 7 years ago. But the house is still in the father's name and it hadn't gone to probate. So they got to go to probate. They got to file forms. You got to get a lawyer. It's a bunch of things you get. This is 7 years later. Time doesn't fix things. You can't just say, okay, it's been 7 years. Can I have the house now? No, you still got to go through all these steps or it's going to end up being forfeited, back to the city or the county or, whatever. So,
yeah.
yep,
Okay, so the trust can help you avoid probate.
it does. I didn't have to go to probate.
Okay.
So all of my father's assets, his house, cars, stuff like that, only the stuff that was outside of the trust. So the vehicles that he had was outside of the trust because I don't put my cars into my trust because we change vehicles so much. But anything inside of the trust becomes him. It's a I see this is where I'm going to mess up because I'm not an expert.
Yeah,
I'm going
yeah.
to think it's a living trust. That's kind of why I think of it because it has its own tax ID. So every year I have to file taxes on that trust on his estate. So as I transact out of his estate, like I'm still doing now, I have to pay taxes if there are taxes to be paid. So, but it makes things a lot easier.
So this is a good question. So the trust is still living.
Yep. Yep.
So the properties and the things that he owned is still owned by the trust,
It
but
is.
you're controlling it because you're the executor.
That's it. That's it. So,
Okay.
and it's been almost 2 years now. And the only reason it's there, so my lawyer advised me, he said, you don't really want to keep it open. You can keep it open, but so only thing sitting in my father's estate is the house because emotional reasons. That's it. I mean,
No doubt.
I can't like so me being in real estate, it ain't going nowhere. I circled back and bought the house I grew up in. Well, you know that. I bought the house I grew up in, owned my first house, and now I'm going to own his house. I don't know what to do with it because I don't want to rent it because it's still his house to me. And so it's sitting in the trust, but the minute I decide to pull it out and make it mine, because I will have to, basically pay my sisters because they have a third of the interest in the house as well. But for now, we can go and come as we please. We can just go over there. We're doing an event over there in a couple of weeks, so we just kind of use it as a gathering point to still
Okay.
kind of cherish some memories and stuff. But I suspect within sometime this year, I think we're gonna make that move and flip the switch.
So that's interesting. Okay, so like if you okay, like you said, the only thing left in the trust is the house. So if you were like, I want the house, so you could pay pay the buy the interest of your siblings,
Yep.
and then now you got it.
Yep.
Then do you transfer that into your individual trust, and then that trust can go away?
So I
And
would transfer it to my LLC, my personal. I don't have a trust. I have a trust, but I don't put my assets in the trust. And my lawyer told me why. I can't remember right now, so I'm not going to quote it. But there's a reason why you don't. You can. There's a right and a wrong for everything. But for me, I don't put things into my trust. If I passed away, it automatically goes into my trust. It's an
oh,
automatic switch. It just happens. But you said something. Here's the important part. So, as a parent, or if you have parents that have a home, um, shoot, how am I going to say this? So when they pass, so when my father passed away, I knew I wasn't going to sell the house. I knew I wasn't going to do anything with it. So my lawyer said, you know what you need to do? It's a rule of thumb in Michigan, right? It's not a hard law, but it's a rule of thumb that you have a year to sell the house. And whatever you sell the house for, they use that as the cost basis, meaning that you don't pay any taxes. So it's all profit. If you sold the house, it's don't have any taxes. Now you go beyond that year, they're going to go back to the purchase price, which usually is a lot lower. It's like, let's say you bought the house 20 years ago at 50, 70, 100 grand, whatever, versus the value now, three, four, five, whatever it is. You got to pay taxes on all that middle part, all that equity.
hmm,
So what I had to do once he passed, a couple months after he passed, I got an assessment done. And that assessment is a stamp in time that says the house in 2023 is worth this much. That's my cost basis because that's when it went into the trust. So if I decide to sell it in the future, my cost basis just jumped up to 23's prices. So that
okay.
was important for when he passed.
Yeah, no, that's good. And Yvonne put down there in some states you have a vehicle, the TOD, right? Transfer on
Transfer
death,
on death.
avoids the probate. And Jeff talked about that and Jeff Moore, Jeff, all right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Luke.
Jeff came through and got fired up about all of the stuff, but talked to us about the TOD. So that's definitely good. So y'all already know you got to go find out your state and how
Yeah,
it operates around these things. But for these deeper questions around the trust, I want y'all to know we're gonna have Amelia Thomas come through, and who is an estate planner, right? And is going to help us dig deeper into this conversation. But I wanted to have this room because he wanted us. Deshaun wanted us, right? Like he's not an expert at this. He's just trying to figure out the right way to navigate accumulating assets and then being able to pass them along to our next generation. So
yep,
I love how you shared that you know, you're not putting things into your trust right now, but upon
right.
death, it
Yep.
happens immediately. So is there a TOD clause or something that you have, or is that something different? Or
No,
is that something one of the questions we asked the estate attorney, right?
so So as my beneficiaries to everything that I have, all my investments, my securities and all that, my beneficiary is not my kids, it's not my wife, it's my trust.
The trust.
So when when I pass and they make the call, they'll say beneficiaries to trust. They'll go to the executor of the trust, which will be my wife if she's still there, or my oldest kid. That's how mine is set up. And that would be the executor of my estate. And she would have control over that. So everything goes into the trust, should be the executor. And that's kind of how it goes.
Kind of how everything went to the trust with your dad. You were the executor. Let's rock and roll, right?
Yep.
Good stuff. Dr. Anita asked, where and how do I have a trust created?
You go to who you gonna have next week?
Amelia Thomas.
So somebody like that, you can go to most estate lawyers. You want to go to a lawyer, attorney, and they'll draft everything up for you. It's a straight package. They'll ask you, they'll interview you and see how you're set up. So funny story. So my dad, he went. I'll be honest with y'all. He paid like $600 or something. I was like, oh, and I'm doing that. I went. They interviewed. He gave me my price, and I'm like, that's not $600. Like,
That's not
what?
600.
But what happened was he worked for GM, and GM had a legal plan, and the legal plan footed most of his bill. He didn't tell me that. He sent me in there. He sent me in there on the
Sent you
mission just
off.
to go
It
do
sent
it. And
you
I'm
off a
just,
little bit.
I'm at this big conference table, like, well, why is it so much? I just, but it wasn't that much. I don't want to say it was like 3 grand or something like that.
Okay.
Maybe,
Okay. I was
two or
gonna
three.
ask.
Yeah, no, it was like 2 or 3 grand. Well worth it. Well worth it. And I mean, Black people, people of color, all of us, that's just stuff that we don't do. We're not taught this stuff. Our neighbors, you'd be surprised how many people are just operating off faith or whatever. And then we're not passing down the homes the right way, or they get stuck in probate, or this is stuff that I want my family to continue to thrive after I'm here.
Yeah.
Um, I want to go back to investments for one quick thing. This is something that I did. I just tried out and it worked. So commodities like gold, right? You can invest in gold. You can go online and you can invest in golds and securities and stuff. I mean, commodities. And but what I saw Costco started selling gold bars. So I said, I want to buy one of these little 1 ounce gold bars. And I think it was 23.
Baller.
Hey, I said 1 ounce.
One.
I said
I was a
ounce.
gold selling for, buddy.
So you know what? You know what's funny? Our community will put that much on their teeth. They'll put that much around their neck. You know what I mean? Like that's what we do. We
Oh my
put it
God.
on our cars. You know what I mean? So I said, let me just see what this do. So I did. Now I went with Costco, right? It was like 2 grand per ounce. And
Wow.
so if you fast in 24, it jumped up to 2,600 an
Yeah.
ounce. Right now it's 3,400 an
34.
ounce. It's just, now gold is a secure investment, right? And it's a physical thing. Of course, when you go to sell it, it's not going to be super easy. You ain't gonna get the top dollar, but it's more than what you save for it. Now, here's my hack, and I'm still working on this, right? Costco is the joint. True dad fashion. Everything is from Costco, head to toe. Costco. Um, Here's the hack. So their markup on this, like, is 1%. Let's just say it's 1%. It's like 1.5 really, but let's say it's 1%. With the executive membership, you get 2% cash back on the purchases. So you already up as soon as you buy the doggone thing, you already up. So if you have it, if you have that kind of income and you want something physical, you can buy your gold bar or two. I'm not saying everybody should do it, but it's better than mattress money that you stick under your mattress and in the next year you've actually lost because you losing percent with inflation off your cash that's under your mattress. So these are things that I'm just always looking at different things and different avenues to um, for things to appreciate.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, where are you gonna get almost 75% appreciation, right? Like,
Oh my
what?
God.
Like $2,000 to $3,400. I mean,
Yeah.
that's I don't know where you get 75%.
And it's
Hey, I went to public school, so my math is off. So it's somewhere in somewhere in
it's like 34, it's like 34%, 35%, something like that. But
Hey,
still,
2000. If it's 3,400, that means it went up $1,400. So that's
oh yeah, yeah.
almost
From
100%.
correct. So from 23 to 25, I was talking about yearly, but you're right. I mean,
Oh, okay. Okay.
it don't matter. Money, we
Money
making
is
money.
growing, right?
It's growing. That's
Money is growing. And
that's
that's
it.
what we're looking for. And again, this is why I like talking to this brother, because the practice, he thinking, right? oh, if it's 1% marker, I'm getting two in the program, I'm coming in winning in the game, right? Like, so these little things, they add up when we compound them around our lives, right? And start to make better decisions. Hey, real quick, before I think I forget about it, because there's some questions in the comments. Where can they go if they want to connect with you and see more about what you do? Like get deeper into dead talks, because we're having a good
Oh
talk.
man.
But what if they want to
See,
go get on your list?
okay, so I'm literally building the plane as I'm flying it. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So, no, for real, I jumped off a cliff and I'm kind of trying to
Oh, I
build my
know.
parachute. I have a website, but it's not ready yet. It's called My Dad Talks. But if you go there, it's just going to be a bunch of Latin. So, I mean, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I'm getting it going. And hopefully to be up and really going where it needs to be. But yeah, this is it. We just sharing information, sharing knowledge, and helping people.
Yeah, I put the link in there anyway because at some point, whenever the actual podcast comes out,
Yeah,
hopefully
yeah.
you'll have your
Oh, right.
site up, right? Right. Okay, so where do you house a gold bar?
Oh, I'm from the hood, brother. What you?
Bro, that boy in my pocket. What you talking?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Who asked that question? No, no, it's secure. It's very, very secure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's secure.
So would you get like a trust? I mean, a safety deposit box, or I mean, that's always an option, depending on how many you got, right? Like
So yeah, it depends how much you got. So
got
you can get a
14
safety
of them
deposit
boys. I don't
box.
advise you putting it in your pocket. Oh.
Listen, you can put it in your nightstand with your guns if you got that, or if you got a safe at home, or if you put it in a secure spot. You know what I mean? Because I'm always trying to stay ready. I'm always trying to stay ready for the unknown. So one thing I talk to my kids about is y'all so caught up on all these wireless devices and social media. You remember the brownout of '04, I think it was, where everybody lost power for like a week, like 5 days or something like that.
Oh yeah, over there.
If that happened now, folks would lose it. Not the pandemic. The pandemic, you had all the resources. You had the Wi-Fi, you had the streaming, you had the like right now to watch a movie. If we lost power, no Wi-Fi, you better have your VHS and VCRs. You know what I mean? Like you forgot about that, but I think society trains us to depend on society. If the grocery store shelves are empty, do you know how to hunt? I ain't trying to take it there, but you gotta always be ready. You should always have a little bit of cash on hand, so you can get out, move how you need to. I'm not saying thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, but have a little bit of cash. Maybe have some commodities, maybe have some gold or silver. Who knows? You never know where things are headed, and especially with this administration that's here now you really don't know. You got to prepare um, for everything, and then just the everyday life. I can't stand going to work in a 9 to 5, giving all the best years of my life to then retire and then to die 5 years later. Because I
Mm,
was talking to a brother, he's about 70, 71,
yeah.
and he's a custodian at the job, and we chop it up every day. And I told him, watching my dad pass at 68, I said, man, you should retire. And he
Bro,
said, man,
68?
yeah, he was
I don't
68.
think I don't think I realized how young he was.
Yeah, yeah, he was 68.
Wow.
And this gentleman I was talking to he's 70, 71, something like that. And he was saying, man, I can't retire because I don't want to stop moving. I got to keep moving. I said, well, go, you'll find something to do. This is where you find information where it meets you. This man sat down, had a long conversation with me. He says, listen, man, the reason I work is because I need 8 hours of activity. If you retire, you're not going to get 8 hours activity. And I debated with this man. I said, yes, I will. I could. He says, let's walk through a day. He says, if I'm going to work, I get up, I go to work, I talk to people, I drive to work, talk to people, I'm moving, I'm doing things. If I was retired, I would get up, have a cup of coffee, and I sit down, watch a little TV. Then I walk around the house, do something else, then I sit down. So you're regressing. You're not moving as much as you would if you were out in society. So he said, so then I said, well, wait a minute. So my kids, they'll have their houses. I'll go help them with their yards. I'll help them with this. He says, okay, you're right. That's one day. What about Tuesday? I
Yeah.
said, I said, brother, wow. So 8 hours activity is really hard to get if you don't have some. He said, what you going? You going to travel? You're going to run out of money. At some point, you can't travel endlessly. You're going to run out of money. So you need to have something. And that was his something. coming into this job every day. He said, this is easy. I can take the days off I need. I'm barely working. You know, he's like, he's honest with me. He ain't gonna see this podcast. He was like, man, I work 3 hours a day. I said, okay. He said, I work 3 hours a day, but I'm
Brother, he in
moving.
the comments. What you talking about?
Huh?
He in the comments. No.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
But
but that's real because I mean, you think I mean, y'all, he know 95, right? He knows dad, right? You know, that's why dad drove them rental cars all them years. He was like, I need something to do. And he
yeah,
liked to drive. He like, I get to get outside. I get to tell a joke with some folks, you know, get to see some people. But if you're just sitting in that house, you know,
you just wither away.
yeah.
You just wither away.
So
Yeah,
I love that though, because we need to prepare for retirement, but we need to prepare for retirement, right?
right. That's
Yeah,
right.
I love that. And then my dad, he also says, Deshaun knows this. He don't got no snowblower, y'all. He's 95 and he be shoveling his snow, which is, it drives the family crazy, y'all. But he always says, all my friends with snowblowers are dead. Right? Like he like they all dead. So hey, it's gonna take me 8 hours to get rid of this snow, but
Yep.
I'm gonna keep moving it a little bit at a time to stay active, right? Like
That's
we
right.
gotta stay active.
That's right.
Um, I love that. All right, I got some more questions for you in the comments, brother.
Sure.
Uh, okay, I asked that one. Is the trust the best option, regardless of assets, because you have immediate access to control the affairs?
Bingo. That's it. People think I ain't got nothing, so I don't need all that. Yes, you do. Even if you don't have a house. I mean, if you got a house, that's something. You got cars, you got accounts. Um, so if you don't want to immediately jump into a trust, make sure your beneficiaries are up to date. I can't stress this enough. Go to your bank, make sure your beneficiaries are up to date. So even better than the trust was going to the bank, telling them that my father passed, and them looking and seeing my name like, okay. It was instant. With the trust, you still got to provide documentation showing that I'm the executor and all. You got to go through all this stuff. But if they see your name, see your ID, it's it. It's that
Ain't nothing to
simple.
talk about.
A lot of people won't update the beneficiaries, and it gets annoying when if you have a retirement or something, they'll say update your beneficiaries, update your beneficiaries. They're not playing because they see people every day like we can't talk to your loved ones and now they can't get to the money to bury you or whatever else because you didn't update the doggone beneficiary. So make sure
Something
that's
that's simple to do, right?
very simple, very, very simple. And every institution. So we have multiple bank accounts. When I say we, all of us.
Mhm.
A lot of people got credit unions, you got the regular bank accounts, you got your retirement accounts. Those all carry beneficiaries. You can't just update it one time at one place. You got to do them at each step. And then, God forbid, if you went through a separation or divorce, you need to update the beneficiaries again to go to who you want it to go to. So you need to keep them updated and always refreshing.
Okay. I want to know, do you keep it? Do you actually buy? Oh yeah. So okay. So when you bought the gold bar, is that an actual? Is it actual? Did you buy a certificate or
Mm-mm.
do you got? You know what I mean? A gold bar, bro.
Yeah, I got
Like
it. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Actually, yeah.
that was not a
Yep.
gold bar, y'all. That I did. By the way, though.
Yep. You know, you get a physical go. If you go to Costco right now, let me back up. You go to Costco, they'll show you they're out of stock. They used to do it once a year. Now they do it a couple times a year. But when they do it, they sell out
Yeah.
within 12 hours, usually. Sometimes they do it in the store. If it's in the store, within 4 hours, they sold out because the markup, you making money the minute you buy it. So it is a physical gold bar, and they ship it to you. It's non-refundable. They insure it. Comes right to your doorstep, and it's in a package. Little 1 ounce gold bar. Depends on who the manufacturer is, who stamps on it. But yeah, it's an official gold bar, and it's legit.
I love it. I love it. Okay, y'all, listen, we're talking to good brother Deshaun Harris of Dad Talks. So make sure that you check him out at mydadtalks.com. So we're having a good discussion. You can raise your Zoom hand if you have any specific questions for the brother that I didn't catch in the comments. I do got this one that I need you to circle back to the 401k. What about a Roth 401k? Isn't it treated like a Roth IRA? Is that the same? Like, how's it different? So you mentioned like inside of the 401k, them starting to have the option where you could
Yes.
have like a Roth inside of your 401k. Like, is there any differences? Anything they need to know?
Yeah, it's different. So in my example, my job offers the Roth, but I can only contribute from the paycheck, and they have different restrictions because it's theirs. It's inside their house.
Okay.
My Roth IRA outside, so it's like an account outside, separate from any employer. Um, you can always withdraw the principal amount that you put in. So if I put in 5 grand, I can always pull that back, tax free, penalty free, because I put it in there after tax. What you can't take out before 59 and a half is the interest and the gains that you made on that 5 grand.
Got it.
So the money's always accessible. You know what I mean? So if you put in 7 grand a year, you putting in seven, you can pull that seven back. Or let's say if you wait a couple more years down the line, you can pull out 20 grand, 30, 40, some emergency, you can pull it out penalty free. I mean, I wouldn't advise it because you make an interest, but if something comes up, you can still pull it out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to me, it's a great vehicle for regular folk like me. And Jeff would tell you all the, other things out there. He's way more versed in this than me. But again, regular folk like me, when I bought my first house, I think I took a 401k loan and I thought I was killing it because I'm like, oh, I'm just loaning against my 401k, which is okay. It's not a withdrawal. Withdrawal and a loan are two different things.
Draws a penalty, right?
Yes, that's a disbursement. Disbursement, you get a 10% penalty, then you get your tax rate on top of that. So you damn near paying 50% to the government if you withdraw or take a disbursement. If you take a loan out, they do charge you interest, but you pay that interest back to yourself. Now, this is important though. That's not the way to go. And I'm gonna tell you why.
Yes.
Because with the loan that you take out against your 401k, like I bought a house. And so to me, that asset is going to perform as well as my 401k is. But when I'm paying the loan back, where is that money coming from? That's coming from my paycheck. My paycheck is actually taxed. So I'm taking taxed money, putting it back into a pre-taxed account to be
Mm.
taxed again. So that's the loss right there. So for me, I was young. I didn't have access to a lot of funds. Opportunity came up. That's how I had to get started. And I wouldn't take that back for the world, but that's not a continuous vehicle that I would ever advise to do.
Ever mess with, right? You rather it's like I'm gonna ask the question, is gonna open another conversation, but it's like you rather borrow against your life insurance as opposed to the 401k, right? Like, yeah, y'all know, y'all listen to that Jeff conversation. He
Yep.
laid into this.
Yep.
I did want to ask you, do you have life insurance? Where does this play in your plan or your system? Then there's a couple of more questions I want to make sure.
So I'm getting with Jeff now. I got to get with Jeff on that. I got life insurance through the job, but that's just the job. I need to get in with him. That's my next vehicle. I want to get annuity and I want to get in with some life insurance. I got to talk to him about that to get more educated on it.
Yeah.
But like I said, you need the income in order to start a lot of these policies because with life, I know one thing's for certain, you can't miss that premium. You miss that premium, you're done. And
No, it's over.
I've seen people who are really diligent, but then they missed a payment or two and no more life insurance.
Yeah, like it's a really important conversation to have, right? Because how much do you get, and it's like, am I gonna overfund it? Am I just gonna get like $100 a month thing and then just overfund it, or am I gonna go for $500 a month or whatever the case may be? Like that's why you need an expert
That's right.
to have these conversations. But good brother, this is why I like to talk to people like you that are just regular folk, man. And I don't want to minimize you. I think you're a superhero, brother.
No,
But
I'm regular.
you got like regular issues that we all got. I got a
Yeah,
job, I got this family, life be lifing. How do I make sure that I don't got $100 million? This is
right,
like,
right.
that's the fantasy world we love to live in. Like I'm a regular person doing regular things. Let's make the best decision that we can for ourselves in this situation. All right, I got
Yep.
a question for you. Would it be advisable to transfer a 3M flexible IRA into a Roth? Delinda, if you don't mind unmuting, you can ask that question because I don't know if that 3 million. That's where I was. I don't know if that 3M is the company or is that $3 million, right? Or if you could just type whatever the case may be, but would it be advisable to transfer a 3M flexible IRA into a Roth? I'm not sure exactly what a 3M flexible IRA is. So, Delinda, we might need a little more info.
Yeah, I don't recognize the question, but
My assumption is a 3M is she works for 3M and they got kind of like the 401k Roth hybrid joint. This is my assumption.
yeah.
Delinda,
So,
if you can unmute, maybe you can just let us know. I don't, maybe she can't
so
unmute.
what I do know, there's no real like conversion without a distribution or a withdrawal. You know what I mean? Like you can't. Roth is after tax, 401k is pre-tax. Uncle Sam got to get his hands on that money.
Got to get
Don't
that
matter.
money, man.
Got to get that money.
Got to get that.
Um, so yeah, it's you can't really transfer one from the other. You can't without having an event, and that would be like death. Like so, here's something else I learned. My father, he had retirement accounts, and with the retirement accounts, Uncle Sam's so dirty. This is how this is how I believe that they don't want the regular folks to become millionaires and get to that level. Because with my dad's, retirement accounts, my thing is cool. My dad worked his behind off. I'm not about to take this and just go blow it and have it's gonna sit here and continue to appreciate. Uncle Sam says, oh, that's a beneficiary IRA now. That means you have 10 years to take the 100% distribution of that account. By year 10, that needs to be not at zero, but you got to withdraw, take a distribution so they can tax it. I
Mm,
want to get their hands on the taxes. So I want to be like the rich. I want to set it and forget it. Let it continue to grow. Let my kids get it. But if everybody did that, you think how many millionaires we would have like that overnight,
wow.
contributing to yours and theirs and what they. So when you have a beneficiary IRA, that does need to be uh, dispersed within 10 years.
Wow. Okay. Delinda says she unmuted. Can you give
Yes,
us?
are you all able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yes, the 3M, no, that is not referring to million. That's the Bank of America product name.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
a 3M flexible IRA. I'm looking at a statement and I keep hearing that the Roth is the way to go. So the question was, should I transfer this money that's sitting there literally doing nothing but earning a little bit of interest into a Roth? Would that be a smart move to make or beneficial?
So again, not the expert, so please contact the expert, but you can't really transfer one to the other. It's two different products. One is
Okay.
pre-tax, and the only way you can take money out, I mean, if you can take it out, which, if you're over 59 and a half, you can take it out and become taxed, which is okay, and then put that in the 4 Roth. You can do that. But keep in mind, if you're doing it on your own, your max is 7,000. Or if you're above 50, it's 8,000. $8,000 a year that you can contribute. So it's not, you probably got a larger amount than that, I'm assuming, in this 3M flexible. So you couldn't just convert like 20, 30, 40 grand, get taxed on it, and then put it into the Roth because there's a limit, there's a cap on that Roth.
You can only
Okay.
do so
She
much. Okay.
can't just do a rollover?
Roll over into another pre-tax account. Yes, you can't roll over into a Roth. Basically, when you take that distribution, they got to tax it. And then again, with the Roth IRA, your individual limit is 7,000 or 8,000, depending on your age. That's the ceiling. That's what you can contribute, and that's it. You can't put any more into a Roth unless you have an employer. Then they'll take it out of your check, and the ceiling gets a little bit higher.
Okay. Thank you for the answer. It's kind of an account that I just kind of it's just there. I don't really do a lot with it. And I hate that, for many years I lost out on interest because
Mm,
I wasn't even paying attention.
okay. Yeah.
Going back and saying I want the highest interest rate that you're offering, for this length of time, 7 months or whatever. I made more money in 7 months than I did probably in 10 years because I wasn't even,
Wow.
it's just been sitting there and now it's sitting there again. And I'd like to put it to work.
Wow.
And I'm over 59, so
Okay.
I qualify on all those levels.
Oh, good stuff. Because I think you already passed the first hurdle that most of us can't seem to get past is you understand interest a little bit and the fact that interest is going to outwork you every time. It was a point in my life I had two full-time jobs and a hustle on the side, trying to work myself into success. until I realized that these passive streams and other things, the money can make money for you, make the money go to work for you.
Money babies. That's what Jeff said.
Yep, yeah, money babies.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? So when I was talking earlier about paying extra on my house, I was paying 3%. Why would I ever do that? And I could make 10% in the open market, the S&P 500 or whatever, or another house or something else. And I got into an argument with somebody online about that. We were just going back and forth, and I just said, as simple as this: 3% or 4% or whatever is the lowest amount of money that you're going to pay on that amount of money to borrow. If you can make 10, is 10 more than 3? As simple as that. Yes, they're going to charge you 3%, and whatever that factors out to, fine. But that extra payment that you would pay, take that out and invest it and grow it over here. It's just that simple. Like, people don't really understand it, so we shy away from it. But the more you lean into it, you start to realize the money can actually make money for you. And and let me know if I'm talking too much, but
No, go for it.
one thing that I do, and I advise, if you have a LLC, a lot of people out here probably have LLCs. If you got an LLC, one thing we started doing a couple years ago is having a family retreat, and it
I was
coincides.
going to ask about this. I'm glad
Okay.
you said thank you. Thank you. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah.
So, and that coincides with our company retreat. And so what started off is like, hey, we just gonna do this because I do it for my job. I told you I have a 9 to 5. And 9 to 5, we have a yearly review that we talk about what we did, how we did, and all that. So I thought, why am I doing this for a company and not for my family? So we get together, we talk about the business, and we talk about what we did, what we bought, what we didn't, moves we can make. And then we talk about life. We talk about financial literacy a little bit. We talk about the things that we have in place. Because one thing that I will say is leaving money without financial education will lead to loss.
Mm.
Like, you can leave that money, the kids are gonna blow it, right? I think we live in a society now. This is the first generation where the kids, by and large, are not expected to do as well as their parents. Every generation before us were set in position to do better than their parents. This generation is kind of set up to not do as well as our parents because of all the devices at the disposal, all of the attention grabbers and things like that. They don't want to work. I mean, not saying all the kids don't want to work, but working from home is a thing. Like, my daughter has a work from home job. She some days don't take her bonnet off, you know what I mean? But she works and she gets paid. But no, so we talk about this, and the beautiful thing about the retreat is that it's all getting written off. So let's not take that Disney vacation and do all this other stuff and just blowing money. I mean, we can have a retreat at Disney, or we can have a retreat in Vegas. Last year was Vegas. We did Vegas as a retreat, and yes, we rent the room. Yes, we have PowerPoints. It's a legit thing. I'm not telling you to do anything illegal, but this is how the people who have do it, because that lowers your taxable income at the end of the day. Basically, how can I say all this stuff this is business? America is a business, and it's meant to benefit business. If you work a 9 to 5, and I work around doctors all day, these are some of the highest earners out there, right? Making lots of money a year. Those are the workhorses of society. Not anything bad, not anything bad. These are beautiful people. But what I'm saying is, if they work for a hospital or a 9 to 5 and they make $500,000 a year or more, they're getting taxed at some of the highest rates if they don't have an offset with an LLC. If they just got a paycheck, the government is getting a lot of the money from the workhorses. And that's not just doctors, lawyers, and everybody else. That's where they're getting a lot of the tax revenue from. So work America the way America works you. Look at the systems in place, put your family in position to win.
I love that. Any additional questions? Tamiko, I know you always got a question. I don't know. Like, I want to make sure I get y'all the questions in before I go ahead and close this out. To me, yeah, come on in to me. I know she always got the questions, y'all.
Hi, Deshaun. What I wanted to, I guess it's more of a comment or an observation. A girlfriend of mine and we were talking the other day about the lack of guidance many of fathers, like fathers today, have had, because they didn't have their fathers oftentimes in their lives, or a male figure that was positive and could, set them on a path and give them advice. And so oftentimes they're lacking providing information that will be beneficial to their children. One example we were talking about, because there was a situation with a young boy, something as basic as the father letting their young son know in their childhood that it's not appropriate to touch anyone else on their body, whether it's a pat on the butt or, just anything, because something as simple as that can land them as a sexual predator. And so, what you're doing with Dad Talks, I just want to commend you on it, because it is fulfilling a big need in our community that I think is an oversight and not many people realize that we're lacking. So, hats off to you for doing that.
Thank you. No, Tamika, I appreciate that. So yeah, my father was always active in my life. He was just the best father ever. And I'm gonna try not to cry, right? So, so in 23, I lost him. And so when I lost him, that was the end of 23. So all of 24 and now of 20, a year and a half, I'm realizing the biggest gap in my life and the biggest pain and hurt. I don't have my guy to go bounce an idea off of anymore. And I didn't realize at this old age now how much I needed him still and how much guidance I still get, because I'm thinking I'm successful, I'm doing my thing. I'm teaching you at this point. That's not, he was always teaching me. And so this year and a half for me, I started to think, I said, how, if this is affecting me so harshly now, how are those people dealing with losing their parent at a young age or not having a father for their entire life? How did you get through? How did you navigate? And so that's where a lot of my motivation comes from, because this dude, he really, he didn't teach me how to throw a football, dribble a basketball, stuff like that, throw a baseball. He wasn't that kind of guy. He was an engineer. So he taught me how to build, how to do, how to, think things through. And that's where a lot of my knowledge comes from, and just being inquisitive about things. That's where that comes from. So, yeah, he was great. And I'm just trying to be that I'm just trying to be that. I'm trying to teach those lessons, and like, how do you buy tires? How often do you change your furnace filter? Just regular kind of passive dad stuff that just dads know. Like a mom showing her daughter how to do her hair, how to braid hair. Fathers have that same thing too. And I want to also dispel the myth that Black fathers are not present, because I know so many. My circle is full of active, passionate, dedicated fathers. I don't see these deadbeats that people are talking about. I mean, I know they're out there. I know they're out there and around my circle. And I don't tolerate it either. I mean, if you're a deadbeat, I don't really associate with you. And if anything, I'll reach out to your kids and make sure that they're straight. So
Right.
yeah, that's what I'm trying to build. That's what we're pushing.
Wonderful. And yeah, and there's and by no means was I saying that they're deadbeats. There's a lot of phenomenal dads that they're lacking the information.
No.
They're doing their best. They're trying, but it's so many things that we have to be aware of as parents. And of course, it's just so many. But I think that that aspect. One of our members in the chat said in Texas that they just passed a law that they will label them as sexual predators for life, and so many of our young men can get caught up with that. So I think it's just a big area that we have to bring it to the attention, because we don't, many of us don't come from privileged backgrounds where we have relatives in law enforcement, or where you could pay people off, and where they can expunge your record and whatnot. So we just have to make sure that we're educating our fathers, enlightening them, and making sure that, listen, this is a part of the talk,
Mhm.
the different talks that we have to have with our children. So thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And just the last thing I'll say is that a lot of first-time fathers, not a lot, but some first-time fathers who didn't have the guidance, they're nervous about being a father and trying to be the right father. Nobody's going to be perfect. There is no perfect father. You know what I mean? You are the father. You're the present father. So I did write a short book, shameless plug, Guidelines to Great Fatherhood. I did write that. These are my stories, just my journey, my three kids, and learning every day, learning how to be a different father. So I got
Guidelines to.
Guidelines to Great Fatherhood. That's my family there too. So they're important. They're my everything. That's what I do it for. So my 23-year-old daughter, that's my oldest. She teaches me. I've never been the father of a 23-year-old before. So she teaches me something new about fatherhood every day. And the willingness to learn puts me in the same position as, somebody who doesn't know, how to be that father. I don't know how to be a father of a 23-year-old because this is my first time. So yeah, don't be afraid. Just, dive in
I love it. I love it. Being a great dad on purpose.
on
That is
purpose.
the byline of the book, y'all. So I dropped the link down there. They said I thought you was 27 years old. How you got a 23-year-old? Don't tell that brother that.
Right.
Listen, I mentioned to y'all we good friends. Don't be telling him that. Well, I don't want to hear that mess later. No, I kid, I kid. But no, brother, this has been great. Y'all got any additional questions? Oh, wait. Hearing you say that your dad prepaid for his funeral and buying space in the mausoleum lets me know there was a period of time when sharing this information was important. My father passed in 2023, and
Hmm.
that's when we learned that my parents have done the same. This is how we learn, passing this information
Right.
along. This is why I think Dad Talks is mission critical, brother. So I don't think I've ever like told you this, but like I love this. I love it. So I'm glad that we got an opportunity to get you on the platform even before you're like super ready to launch it. And I've been pushing y'all, I'll be
All
pushing
day.
it in the background because he should be doing some other things a lot more aggressively. Tamiko, you already know, like he just overthinking it. If he should have
Oh man, nah, man, you an online bully. You an online bully, man.
I just want you to be great, brother. That's
That's
all.
dope.
That's all. And you got great information to share with people. So you be being shy, keep talking about, well, I don't know. I ain't an expert. Bro, listen, most people don't know any of these things that we're talking about.
Mm,
And the fact that you put your pride and your ego aside and went and learned, right? Humbled
yeah.
yourself and continue to learn. And I mean, I've never been a dad of a 23-year-old, right? I got a lot to learn about them, right? And that
Yep.
like that mentality is something that needs to be spread in our community. So I commend you, brother. I appreciate you for all of that. I look forward to hanging out with you later this month. I'll be back home, by the way.
Okay. Okay. Good stuff, man. Good
Yeah, we
stuff.
get a chance to really catch up. But I'll just say, any final thoughts? What's your final thoughts that you want to leave to the people?
Um, yeah, just being a great dad on purpose is my mission. And I encourage everybody to be a great person on purpose and just always continue to learn. Be an open vessel. Don't be afraid to look at certain things or like lean into things like the young lady asked about converting money and stuff. I don't know why we shy away from money, why we don't talk about money, why we, you make more than me or you make six figures, I don't. None of that matters. We need to come together as a community to move ourselves forward. We need to come back because other communities are doing that. Other cultures are doing that. My kids know I'm not forcing them out the house, but I'm also not allowing them to sit in the room and Netflix all day and Roblox and everything else. You got to do something, but have a plan. But just empowering us and our community to get back to the people that we were once upon a time where we need to be is we'll get there together. That's pretty much it.
I love it. I love it. Well said, good brother. Hey, this has been Sankofa Speaks with the good brother Deshaun Harris of mydadtalks.com because that site's going to be live by the time we get this up. You got a couple of weeks, brother. So, just let you know. And when we promote it, we can email our audience. So make sure, you got your emails. You're collecting the emails and getting people into your community, but continue to pour into the community, brother. What you do, I joke a lot, but what you do is absolutely mission critical, man. And if we are going to have the future that we desire, we got to start pouring into our next generation. and encouraging elders to do that for their next generation, right? Oh, damn encourage, challenge these elders, right? We the elders now. How crazy is that, bro?
Yeah.
First of all, how crazy is that, right?
Uh,
But we the elders now, so we got to challenge our peers. And I did want to say one other thing because I love that. Like where these deadbeats at? Like, I don't know deadbeat dads. Like you can't be around me if you a deadbeat dad. Like, how all these people know all these deadbeat dads? Ain't nothing wrong with you that you allowing somebody to be a deadbeat dad around you, and you just acting like, oh, let's go to the bar and hang out on Saturday. Nah, bro, you need to go get your baby, right? Like, what you doing? Like, what's wrong with you? We got to start shaming folks again. Like, folks ain't got no shame no more. You can't come around grandma's house. You don't take care of your baby. What the hell you think going on? All right, Zion got fired up now. Let me get off.
No, hey, but you're right. Hey, but you're right. Like, if you're not taking care of your own shorties, if anything go down, I expect you to be there for me in any capacity. These is your children. They come from you. You're not gonna look after them, and you expect, man, we'll be on one.
Yeah. We're gonna pick up there when I get home, because man, you can't be around me and you don't take care of your people. Fuck, hell we doing, right? We gonna edit that one out. It's like that was honest there though, right?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing, man? Like, we gotta stop making space for people like that. That moms, dads, aunties, I don't care who you are.
Yep.
If you're a cancer, you got to get the hell away from us in this community. So I think we got to stop making space for deadbeats in general. So
Absolutely.
Anyway, that wasn't meant to be the point of the ending. But I appreciate you spending some time with us, good brother. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this discussion. Make sure you go to mydadtalks.com, sign up and engage the good brother. And he has a lot more wonderful conversations, right? Even outside of finance, which I think is important, money, 401ks and all of that, but like just practical stuff that if you didn't have a dad or if you wasn't listening, right, you can continue to grow and learn as well and get it. What was your slogan, brother? Be a better person.
Continue to add to the earth.
Continue to add to the earth. Bam. But that's what we got to do here at Sankofa Speaks. So we're going to continue to add to the earth. So as I always end with these, please feel free to unmute your mic and let the good brother know how we appreciated this conversation today.
Appreciate you, man.
Thank you, good brother.
I'm loving the fact that y'all young men got this going on. Thank you.
I appreciate Doc lying to me.
Thank you so much for guiding us and sharing. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thanks. Yes, this was great information that we don't hear. So I'm appreciative and definitely going to share with my family.
I'm over 60. Do not assume we have learned this information because many of us have not. My hand is raised. Okay. You can't see it, but it's raised.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing.
Absolutely. I'm over 60 and got have a house for 40 years and just realized about the gap with the money when I pass it to the kids that they're gonna have to pay the taxes from when I bought it. I didn't know that. So
so they won't have to pay the tax.
Pay the interest or whatever, right? The taxes.
No, go ahead,
unless we do the thing that you just said, unless they stamp it at the time of my death.
Right. So if they're gonna keep it for longer than a year, if they sell it not immediately, within the first year, if they sell within the first year, they're fine. They're fine. No taxes, no nothing. They're good to go.
Oh.
In the first year. That's a rule of thumb in Michigan. Because the lawyer said it's not a law, but
I'm in New York, so all our stuff is different. They take all our money.
Yeah, I don't know about New York.
They're taking all our money in New York.
Do the homework though. There may be a different loophole. There may be a different loophole if you do the homework. Like you talk to a lawyer or attorney, somebody's familiar with the state laws.
Yeah, I was gonna say the conversation started. That's all I'm trying to promote, really. So you thinking about it, you're gonna go check into it to look out for your kids, and that's dope.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
And that's dope.
Thank you so much, Mr. Harris. Continue your mission. You are a voice that absolutely must be heard in this time. You were born for this time. So be bold. Don't hold back. Go for it with all the gusto that you have. Such an inspiring and informative message today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sister. I appreciate that.
I love it. Because now Sister Roberta.
That was powerful.
Go ahead, good brother. sister? Who was that?
Wasn't me.
No, I just said that was powerful what she just said.
Yeah.
Oh, that was Tamiko. Yeah. No, that was definitely powerful. But you're right, brother. You got to go out here and be heard more. So she gave me permission to keep pushing you in that inbox. I'm gonna go harder now.
Look.
So thank you for that.
I was about to say, let's wrap this up because I don't take compliments too well. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna get real silly and just start, cracking jokes or something to deflect.
Yeah. We'll do that later. I got you a couple.
No, you better get used to the compliments. Just go ahead and get used to it. Get comfortable with it.
Thank you, sister. I appreciate that.
Go sit in your dopeness, man. It's okay. It's okay. I'm gonna tell jokes behind the scene anyway, but it don't take away from your dopeness, brother. I honestly and truly, man, I appreciate you. I really, really do. Yeah, we need this information, man, and most of us don't know it. And you know me, I talk a lot of trash. We have a whole lot of fun, but like, hey, if I don't know something, brother, I'm gonna call you.
Yeah.
Hey, I tell y'all, if y'all ain't using y'all Rolodex, you better. I know I use mine.
Hey, who not how? Who not how?
Oh man, you're gonna get Tamiko fired up.
Yep.
Who not how's a great breed. But again, thanks to everybody for being here. I don't want to keep Deshaun for too long. But this has been great, man. Again, hopefully y'all was stretched, y'all learned some things. We got some questions answered. Let's just go off into our lives and be great. Do the things that you were put here to do. And I'll just, if nobody else will do it in your lifetime, I'll do it. I dare you to be great. I dare you to be great. Don't be shy and say that for somebody else. I don't want to hear it. It's okay. You ain't gonna hurt my feelings. I dare you to be great. You got greatness in you. Let's do it together. So, all right, peace and blessings, everybody.